You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real-life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real-life fighters, the real-life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go, oh, 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 oh. Oh, where down we go, oh, oh, oh. come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the folk who my, do you dare to look them right in the eyes? Yeah. Oh, 'cause say we run you down to the door. Yeah, someday we run you down till you fall. And they will run you down till you go. Yeah, till you can't grow no more. And where down we go. Where down we go. Say where down we go. Oh, 'cause say we run you down to your car. Oh, way down we go. Oh, baby, oh, baby, way down we Where down we go. Oh, where down we go. So where down we go. Way down we go.
And welcome into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of an extended intro there, because it's my show and I can do what I want. We're here, we're live, it's Tuesday, which for me is Monday, unfortunately, but luckily enough, it's not Monday for you. Now, I have something that you either may have not heard before, or it's been a while since you've heard it regardless, even if you probably have heard it before. But everybody keeps asking me how we got here. How we now have all of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, which is a media turning against the sitting president and doing everything they can to torpedo his presidency, which they've admitted to. NPR was a guy that no longer works for NPR, was very explicit in basically saying that was their mission statement from the day that he got the nomination, was to destroy him by any means necessary. Now you have protesters on college campuses stating that they are going to do what they're doing there by any means necessary. But there's something that I need you guys to understand, because this isn't being talked about very much. All of this is coordinated. And the worst part about this is a lot of us feel like we've never seen anything like this before, and that's true because we haven't been alive long enough. But the worst part about all of this is it's all happened before, and it's all going to happen again. As a matter of fact, when it happens again, it usually happens in kind of a mashup fashion, because if you'll notice, we're kind of living through 1930s America and late 1960s America all at the same time, because you now have a bunch of different people trying to push for different ideas, and thanks to Obama and everybody else, all the racial tensions were stirred back up over a decade or so ago. So we're still looking at all that fun stuff. But this leads me into the first thing that I want you guys to hear today. And I may or may not play the longer version of it too, but I want you to hear this part first. As soon as I remember to unmute the site. Hang on.
No, no, no. Not God bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible.
Now, here's the part they didn't show.
Prior to Abraham Lincoln, the government in this country said it was legal to hold Africans in slavery in perpetuity. Perpetuity is one of them University of Chicago words. That means forever. From now on. When Lincoln got in office, the government changed. Prior to the passing of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution, the government defined Africans as slaves, as property, people with no rights to be respected by any whites anywhere. The Supreme Court of the government, same court, granddaddy court of the one that stole the 2000 election, Supreme Court said in its Dred Scott decision in the 1850s, no African anywhere in this country has any rights that any white person has to respect at any place, anytime. That was the government's official position, backed up by the Supreme Court, that's the judiciary, backed up by the executive branch, that's the president, backed up by the legislative branch, and enforced by the military of the government. But I stopped by to tell you tonight that governments changed. Prior to Harry Truman's government, the military in this country was segregated. But governments changed prior to the civil rights and equal accommodations laws of the government in this country. There was back segregation by the country, legal discrimination by the government, prohibited blacks from voting by the government. You had to eat in separate places by the government. You had to sit in different places from white folk because the government said so. And you had to be buried in a separate cemetery. It was apartheid American style from the cradle to the grave, all because the government backed it up. But guess what? Governments changed. Under Bill Clinton, we got a messed up welfare to work bill, but under Clinton, blacks had an intelligent friend in the Oval Office. Oh, but governments changed. The election was stolen. We went from an intelligent friend to a dumb Dixiecrat, a rich Republican who has never held a job in his life, is against affirmative action, against education, I guess he is, against health care, against benefits for his own military, and gives tax breaks to the wealthiest contributors to his campaign. Governments change, sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. But I'm fitting to help you again. Turn back and say, he's fitting to help us again. Where governments change, write this down, Malachi 3:6. Malachi 3:6, thus saith the Lord. Repeat it after me. For I am the Lord, and I change not. That's the King James Version. The New Revised says, for I, the Lord, do not change. In other words, where governments change, God does not change. God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. That's what his name, I am, means, you know. He does not change. There is no shadow of turning in God. One songwriter puts it this way, as thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Thou changest not. Thy compassions, they fail not. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. God does not change. God was against slavery on yesterday, and God, who does not change, is still against slavery today. God was a God of love yesterday, and God, who does not change, is still a God of love today. God was a God of justice on yesterday, and God, who does not change, is still a God of justice today. Turn to your neighbor and say, God does not change. Where governments lie, God does not lie. Where governments change, God does not change. And I'm through now. But let me leave you with one more thing. Governments fail. The government in this text, comprised of Caesar, Quirinius, Pontius Pilate, Pontius Pilate. The Roman government failed. The British government used to rule from east to west. The British government had a Union Jack. She colonized Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and Hong Kong. Her navies ruled the 7 seas all the way down to the tip of Argentina in the Falklands. But the British government failed. The Russian government failed. The Japanese government failed. The German government failed, and the United States of America government, when it came to treating her citizens of Indian descent fairly, she failed. She put them on reservations. When it came to treating her citizens of Japanese descent fairly, she failed. She put them in internment prison camps. When it came to treating the citizens of African descent fairly, America failed. She put them in chains. The government put them on slave quarters, put them on auction blocks, put them in cotton fields, put them in inferior schools, put them in substandard housing, put them in scientific experiments, put them in the lowest paying jobs, put them outside the equal protection of the law, kept them out of their racist bastions of higher education, and locked them into positions of hopelessness and helplessness. The government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating her citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme. The United States government has failed the vast majority of her citizens of African descent.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack there, and we are going to unpack it. So first of all, if you wanted to know how we got here, it's because of preachers like this, because this type of doctrine took off all over the country in the late 90s, early 2000s, and all the way up until the mid-2000s. As well, I get not really mid-2000s because we're not really there yet, but up until 2010s, 2015s-ish. And it just exploded everywhere. This man became a household name because of his ties to the Obama family. But if you want to know how we got here and how things have gotten as badly as they have, it's because we now have pastors, people who claim to be people of faith, who are not only calling for our destruction, but praying for it. Now, I need you to understand what that means. That means you now have people who claim to read the same book that you and I read, a lot of us, that have a completely different understanding than the same book that you and I read, a lot of us. And it's bad. To be in this position is very, very bad. To have people now openly calling for our destruction because of the sins of the past is bad. We corrected a lot of those things. And the irony of this is, when he starts talking about, well, the government supplies the drugs, the government did this, the government did that, that was both sides of the aisle, ladies and gentlemen, because they knew. We've talked about it on this show, we've talked about it on Juxtaposition, we talked about it all over the place. Once we started understanding that there is literally about 6 degrees of separation between the Biden family and the fentanyl trade currently, we started doing a deep dive and bringing it into other shows and telling you how long the CIA has actively been involved in the drug trade. That has survived across multiple administrations. The idea that we deserve to burn, that we deserve to be destroyed because our ancestors espoused slavery, which was a very common thing back then, and the irony of this man who claims to be a man of the cloth failing to recognize that slavery still exists worldwide and all they did was change the name of it is astounding to me. But you want to know why we are where we are? It's because of people like Jeremiah Wright, because they have been calling and hoping and praying for America's supposed chickens to come home to roost, and more people have listened to this bile being spewed from this man instead of listening to the actual gospel that they are now openly calling for America to be destroyed. You want to know why they're able to do that on college campuses now? It's because of people like this. You want to know why they keep doing it? Because nobody's standing up to them and nobody's willing to stop them. That's why. All right, we're going to have to take a quick break because I got to get some rugrats who are within earshot of my microphone under control, apparently. So I was going to skip the break since we had a long clip there. But anyway, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real-life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real-life fighters, the real-life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day, protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Soldier, keep on marching on. Down till the work is done. Waiting on that morning sun. Soldier, keep on marching on. Quiet night, gonna wake the
can be dark into the heat.
And welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the Tuesday edition of the Rick Robinson Show coming at you live right here on KLRNradio.com. We do this thing every Tuesday through Friday between the hours of 3 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern. With breaks typically kind of random because, sometimes I go long, sometimes I go short. It just kind of depends on the mood that I'm in. And we do still have plenty of things to talk about. So back to the video that took up a lot of the monologue. When you have pastors, or people that call themselves pastors, embracing things that are antithetical to the beliefs of Christ and then trying to tell you that you are the one behaving in a fashion antithetical to the beliefs of Christ, it astounds me. I mean, I saw it again today. A person who goes by the title of Reverend on X, which I will not mention their name, basically put out an image of a cross superimposed behind an American flag and said, if you can't see the problems with this image and how it's antithetical to everything Christ taught, then I don't really know where to begin with you. The problem is it's not antithetical to what Christ taught. Christ was a proud Jew. Christ was proud to be Israeli. Part of what made Christ who he is was his lineage, because his lineage was foretold. Part of what gave him the power to do what he was able to do was because there were very specific prophecies that had to be followed for him to be able to come into existence. And those things had to happen. So he didn't hide the fact that he was a Jew. He also didn't hide the fact that he believed in God. Even he himself, who was of God, told everyone that he believed in God. So the idea that you can't be, I don't really want to say proud of your country, but at least, understanding of your heritage, even the warts of your heritage, and still be proud to be Christian, because that is something I will say that I'm proud of, not because I'm the one that made the choice, but because he chose me before I ever took my first breath. And that is just the truth of it. But this leads to everything else that we really need to be talking about right now, because everybody's like, where's all this Jewish hate coming from? This has all happened before. These same type of protests, even if they were a lot more highbrow, were happening in the 30s, before we ever got involved in World War II. All of the Ivy League folks thought Hitler was an idea guy. So when all the Jewish hate started coming out, they didn't embrace it quite as ravenously as this crowd has, but they did embrace it. And this is what I keep trying to explain. Just because we haven't seen this in our lifetime doesn't mean that it has not happened before. But there's something else that I need you to understand. And I don't usually talk about this much on this show, but this is what I feel like I'm being led to talk about today. There are a lot of theological scholars who believe that Hitler was an attempt for the Antichrist to spin himself up. If you go and you look at the teachings and you look at the writings, they feel like that may have been a test run to see if the Antichrist could get a foothold. And it makes sense, because you ask yourself, why do the Islamists hate the Jews so much? Why did so many people that even claim to be Christians hate the Jews so much? It's because they've been listening to the wrong voices. Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell me to my face that you dislike the Jews, and I will tell you to your face that you will likely never see the face of God. Because it's just the truth of it. Israel is God's chosen people. Always has been, always will be, and there is a reason why every time this stuff starts trying to spin up, and make no mistake, at some point it will take hold. I don't know if it'll be now, I don't know if it'll be a decade from now, but this will take hold, because it has to. For everything that we know that will happen in the end of the book, it has to take hold. Will it be now? I don't know. Do we have time to stop it? Possibly. Well, part of you are like, why is he talking about this so much? I promise, it'll make sense in a minute. But I need you to understand, this has all happened before, and it will all happen again until it takes hold. It wasn't able to fully take hold during World War II. Now we are 4 generations away from that, and it's starting all over again. because there are very few people alive who remember what it was like back then. So it's really easy for the darkness to creep back in the guise of understanding. And this is one of the reasons why for months I have been reminding you guys of the parable of the scorpion and the frog, because you want to know how we got here? They have used our compassion and our understanding against us, because our feeling of needing to be understood, our feeling of needing to be accepted, our feeling of needing to be accepting has taken everything over, including common sense. If our country as a whole still had an ounce of common sense, we wouldn't have an open border right now. But we do. If our country as a whole had an ounce of common sense, whether we were sending money to Ukraine, Israel, or anywhere else, we would have secured our border first. We can argue about whether we should be sending money to Ukraine. I've outlined over and over again that I believe this is a Biden money laundering scheme, and I think we need to cut the spigot off. But that's not up to me. I send people to Washington to try to get them to do the things that I want them to do, and then they have to figure out how to work within the framework to get it done. Now, we can decide if the system is broken. We can argue about whether or not the system is broken. And we can even agree that most likely a lot of it is broken, because that's exactly what we talk about on this show and others. But you need to understand this is all coming from a different, much darker place than anything that you thought it was. This is what I'm trying to make you understand. These protests, they are not organic. There are people behind the scenes funding this mess. There are people behind the scenes buying the tents. There are people behind the scenes telling these people what to chant, what to say, where to say it, when to say it, how to say it. It's the only way that it's sprung up nationwide within a few days, and it's because we have paid agitators in this country. Now, I need you to understand, there are on social media there are what are called influencers, and they get paid for basically bringing products to people's attention in the hopes that they're going to buy them, things like that, or maybe, promoting a certain book, whatever the case may be. And then you have the folks that do it in a public setting, and those are called agitators. What they do is they have groups put together that they spin up anytime they need to start a protest somewhere. And they get them their shirts printed up, and they get their tents and their food and their water and whatever they need, and then they send them off to start sowing dissent. That's what this is about. This is the culmination of the left's destructive tendencies that have taken root in this country since 1913, if not before. We are talking about trying to figure out how to undo over 100 years worth of institutional problems. Because to one part of the country, America is bad. America is evil. It is always going to be bad. It is always going to be evil. And therefore it must be destroyed. This is why you now have people in their late teens, early 20s that have grown up under this system of indoctrination, not education, that didn't have parents who made them learn other things, because we all got too busy. And I say we, I have grandkids at this point. My kids hated me because I always gave them extra homework. I made sure, even though they weren't teaching cursive in my youngest son's school days after grade 3, they stopped it. They were actually just about to start teaching them how to read cursive, and then they stopped it. My son absolutely hated me because I hate writing in cursive, but I can sign my name. But I can also read cursive, and that was the one thing I told my son. Look, I'm never going to be a stickler about your handwriting. I've been told when I use cursive it looks like a doctor. Then I'm told when I use block print it looks like a typewriter. So you can guess which one I use more often. But I do want you to understand how to read it, because there is a grandfather iteration of cursive that a lot of our documents were written in back in the day. And it gives you at least enough of an understanding, even if the language is a little weird, even if there's these and thous and the other things, and some of the script is a little bit different, you get the meaning of it without them being able to go online and change things. Like now, if you look up the copy of the Declaration of Independence, it doesn't say, if you, depending on where you look, it doesn't say we believe all men are created equally anymore. It says we believe all people were created equally. Now that's a minor change, and I get that. But the problem is, with every minor change, you start getting this thing called mission creep. For those of you that are former military or grew up in military families, you know what I'm talking about. It's when you start a particular mission or a path, things change, so things kind of move a little bit outside of the parameters of the mission, and it's called mission creep. And by the time you're finished versus when you started, you may be in a completely different place than you thought you were going to be. And that's where we are in a lot of ways with our country, because we, as everyday average Americans, assumed that everyone had the same ideas about what it meant to be part of this country as we did. And we were wrong. We were so wrong. Not even wrong on the face of it. We were wrong on every possible level of being wrong about people and what they actually thought about this country. But it's because nobody was learning our stories anymore. Nobody was learning the truth of what it took to make this country what it is. Nobody was learning about the sacrifices. Nobody was learning about the people that were willing to put their lives on the line so that you and I had a modicum of freedom. Now, the freedoms they had back then are vastly different than the freedoms that we have today. If you don't believe me, just try to go hunt and fish without a license. See what happens. They didn't have to have a license to do that. There was no background check to buy a gun. None of that. And this is part of what happens with government. Once government starts getting so big, the only thing that it can do is find more and better and creative ways to feed itself so that it can continue to exist. Eventually, though, you become ground under heel and you start to subsist rather than exist. And this all started, as I've said over and over and over again, with the passage in 1913 of the 16th Amendment to the Constitution, which was the one that made taxation not theft. Really, really want to get rid of that one. Just saying. Because that's what made us the perpetual batteries feeding the very system that a lot of us are trying to fight or stop or put the brakes on. And then you have folks that go to D.C. that tell you all the right things until they get there. Then they plug themselves into the matrix known as you can get rich in 5 seconds if you're part of Congress and you push the right levers. And then here we are. So that's another reason we are where we are today. We don't have people that go to D.C. to serve anymore. We don't have people that go to D.C. to try to make a difference. Hell, most of the people that do what I do don't do it to try to make a difference anymore. They do it because they're hoping they can get famous. So they can get clicks. Please see Candace Owens. That woman has changed sides. I almost said something really gross. But yeah, changed her stance on so many things, so many different times that I don't think anybody knows what she stands for anymore. But now she's a well-known speaker, so she's being asked to come and speak at Catholic churches. This was apparently before she had her miraculous conversion to Catholicism. But this is the America that we live in today. Everyone has to have their patron influencer. It's like patron saints from back in the day. But you've got to have your influencer. And once you've picked out your influencer, you pick up their banner and you run with it no matter what they say. And I'm telling you right now, if you are listening to me because you feel like I am your patron influencer, then please just turn this thing off. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that because I'm not hoping that because I'm hoping that I can't ever reach you or can't somehow find a way to resonate with you. I'm saying if that's why you're listening to me, you're listening for the wrong reason, and it's never going to take hold properly. Ladies and gentlemen, I do what I do because I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do. It's something that I have fought for years, and I ran from for years, to the point where at one point, well, I'm kind of all over the place today, but to the point where I was going into the ministry, but decided to do a 2-year college to get most of the prerequisites out of the way because it was cheaper. But one of the prerequisites that I needed to take to be able to go in and get my theology degree, which I did eventually do, by the way, was public speaking. Irony of ironies, I hate public speaking. Turns out I'm pretty good at it. Turns out that I didn't understand that what made me think I hated it was just nerves. Because, ladies and gentlemen, even doing this right now, anytime the on-air light comes on, whether I'm in my home studio, whether I'm in another studio, whether I'm sitting in on somebody else's show, I feel like I'm going to throw up in my shoes. But it's because I didn't understand, and it took me years to find out, until the first time that I went ahead and bit the bullet and led a sermon. It took me years to find out that that was just energy that my body didn't know what to do with, and I had to give it focus so that it could go somewhere, besides just making me feel like I wanted to vibrate out of my skin. And that's part of what we're talking about today. We now live in a world governed by fear. You are afraid to be honest about the things that you believe because too many people are willing to shout you down, unless you believe very specific things. And I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't believe. I'm telling you, you need to find your voice, whatever it is. Whether it's standing up for people in your own way, whether it's putting your ideas down on paper so that other people can read them, and I know nobody really uses paper anymore, roll with me here, or doing what I'm doing. You need to find a way to put your fear behind you. Because fear can paralyze you. And when fear paralyzes you, you find yourself like a lot of students right now. I guarantee you at least half of those students mixed up in all that mess don't care about it one iota. The only thing they care about is, ooh, look, I'm trying to make a difference. Except you're not trying to make a difference. And what a lot of people don't realize is all of these degrees that you're paying $68,000 a year, $68,000 a semester for, or whatever it is now, you're making them worthless. Because for the next generation, when they see Harvard, when they see Columbia, when they see all these Ivy League school names on your resume, hey, yeah, next. You guys did that, not us. You guys made that happen. You can be mad about it. You can be frustrated about it. You can be whatever you want to be about it, but it doesn't change the fact that you guys, especially those of you that can hear me that are going along just for the sake of going along because, well, I get to get out of school and I get to do something with all my anger. Do something productive with your anger. Becoming a terrorist is not what you do with your anger. And I will tell you what no one else is willing to tell you. If you are screaming that you are Hamas, if you are protesting for Hamas, if you are protesting for Palestine, then you have become a terrorist. When you start the process to impede people who are paying for an education to come into a building because you disagree with who they are ideologically, then you are an ideological terrorist. Have you started lobbing rockets yet? No. Have you done any Molotov cocktails yet? Probably not. But you are an ideological terrorist. And I will tell you this to your face, I don't care. Because somebody has to. Because somebody has to be willing to stand up and remind people that actions have consequences. These people don't know what these consequences are yet, but they're going to find out, because more and more of the people that have made your life possible in this college have figured out that every single one of you have lost your minds. And they're going to start pulling their funding. And at some point, especially if I have anything to do with it, there will start being lobbying to pull government funding from colleges that have allowed this to happen. And I promise you, that will be one of my missions. Because I may only have a molehill, but I have a big network of people that I work with. Because I don't burn bridges when it comes to collaboration. If I can help it, I will never burn a bridge when it comes to working with somebody. The only people that I have ever allowed bridges to burn with are the ones that have stabbed me in the back. Because it's not about me, it's about the message. And the message that you guys need to hear today is America still matters. What you believe in still matters. What you were taught growing up, if you're of my generation, still matters. But it doesn't to the people that came after us for the most part. A lot of millennials are on the cusp. A lot of them get it, a lot of them don't. Most Gen Z is out to lunch. Gen Alpha, I think, is going the other way again. Because their parents are making them unplug and go outside, which is an awesome thing, by the way. As somebody who spent way too much time on video games when I was a kid, And looking back and all the times my dad yelled and screamed at me to go play outside, and I was mad that he did it, I'm glad he did it. Yes, it's become something that I've been able to turn into a job. And I make fun of him about that all the time, because I remember when I was a kid, he was like, well, you're never going to make money from playing video games. Not really, but the computer that I learned to play them on helps me make money now. Because it's just the way the world is now. But the problem is, and this is something else that I keep trying to make everybody understand, now that that being a creative is such a lucrative market, you're going to start seeing the same thing that's happened with everything else. Larger groups are going to start gobbling up as many creatives as they can and as many creators as they can, and eventually putting them under one label. And it's already starting to happen. But again, those people are, in a lot of cases, are doing this stuff for the wrong reasons, because they're looking for their payday. Look, I get paid to do what I do. I am trying to get paid better to do what I do. But I will never put the message down in exchange for a paycheck. I would rather watch everything that I have built burn to the ground before I turn my back on what it is that I'm trying to do. And that includes telling you guys when I get things wrong, which I have done plenty of times. Because I'm not one of these people, once I tell you something, it's gospel and you better run with it. No, when I realize I've made a mistake, I will tell you that I've made a mistake. Has it cost me followers? Yes. Has it cost me listeners? Yes. I don't care. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. That when you are trying to use whatever platform you have, whatever talents you have, to impact the people around you, when you screw up, you have to let them know. And you know how many people that I've talked to that have been doing this even before I started? I mean, granted, when I started, almost nobody was doing it this way yet. But it took me a long time to figure it out, because I didn't have a bunch of sponsors and a lot of backing. So it's taken me almost 17 years to get to this point. But it was something that I always felt like that I should be doing, especially once I figured out that it was something that could be done. Because I didn't even know it. All this started as a Facebook page. A long time ago in a lifetime far, far away. This all started as a Facebook page. But the truth of it is, folks, a lot of the people that have made it have had to water down their message. Because they've become beholden to the people that pay their bills, whether they've been picked up by a larger syndication group, whether they've gone to work for Fox News, whether they've gone to work for whomever. At some point, they have to start watering down their message. In some cases, that's a good thing, because if you've seen Tucker Carlson, since he's no longer on Fox News' leash, a little scary, just saying. I never realized how pervasive anti-Semitism actually was in this country, and I'm just going to tell you this on the way to the last break of the hour. That's bad. Because, and I think I got interrupted with this point earlier, but we're going to finish up with this real quick. If you want to know why all of this anti-Semitism is creeping up, it's because the run-up has started again. All the road signs are there. And if you were listening at the beginning of the show, you know what I mean by run-up. If you weren't, I'm just going to be honest. This is the beginnings of the Antichrist trying to get a hold of everything. Don't know how long it's going to take. Could be a generation, could be two, could be more. I don't know. But this is the beginnings of him trying to get a hold on everything again. We're seeing the same things that happened in the 1930s happening all over again. But now they are being coupled with some of the same divisive and other things we had, division and other things we had going on in 1968. You can disagree with what I'm saying. I never have an issue with that. All I ask is that you listen and make up your own mind. All right. Break time. Be right back.
Made to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Bless those you heard, and do you sing, gather the church.
No, this isn't Gaza. This is Yale. Fox News Alert. Right now, you're looking live at the campus of Yale University, where police are swarming the campus. They are chanting right now, as you hear. There's been hundreds of...
This isn't live, by the way, but I wanted you to hear some of what happened this morning.
Yale. Anti-Israel protests plague colleges and universities across the country, all while Jewish communities begin to celebrate Passover. Our next guest witnessed the anarchy firsthand on Columbia University's campus that pushed today's classes online, they say, for their safety. One was nearly burned after a protester lit his American flag on fire. Here to discuss it are Columbia University students Alicia Baker and Andrew Parker Stein. Andrew, it was you Saturday night, right? What happened?
So basically, a bunch of Jewish students came to campus to respond to the encampment. We just sang songs of peace. On the way out, a pro-Hamas mob started chasing us, calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs outside of campus. They threw hard objects at him. They started harassing him. They tried to light his flag on fire, and nothing is done with this. And after that, on the way out, we were talking to public safety. They started following us on the way out, and public safety just shrugged their shoulders. They're the ones who are responsible in protecting us. And the only protection that we had was we have one student who's a 6'5" student, and everyone hid behind him as we were leaving campus. And an angry mob of pro-Hamas students chased us off of campus, screaming, "We don't want no Zionists here, get out of here, F Israel," and a bunch of other...
And these are students?
So that's a great question. This is the most shocking thing on campus right now. We have video proof of people sneaking into campus. The encampment themselves are bragging about the fact that many aren't students. And so we don't know if they're students. Likely they're students. They might not be students. And Columbia is doing nothing about the fact.
Unbelievable. They just shut down school. Alicia, what's your experience?
I mean, look, we've been calling this out for 6 months now. We know that these are anti-Semites using anti-Semitic
Since the
rhetoric.
October 7th attack.
Since the October 7th attack. Since the first set of protests on October 12th. And now we see what happens when you don't shut down anti-Semitic rhetoric and you allow these people to feel entitled. You know, there were some arrests on Thursday. That was great. I commend the university for doing that. Guess what? They walk 20 yards to their left. They do the exact same thing on the other lawn, and they've been there since Thursday. And now they're harassing us. They're yelling, "Go back to Poland." You know, when they say we don't want no Zionists here and death to the Zionist state, you know, what's the game plan? Where should we go?
Right.
Now they're saying go back to Poland. We all know what happened last time the Jews were in Poland.
Well, you shouldn't go anywhere, but you don't feel safe on campus.
Absolutely not. And there's really been no enforcement of policy. And the problem is that public safety is unable to really step in when there are problems.
Are they armed? I mean, are they capable of doing anything, Andrew?
I think that's the most concerning part. People have been saying for a while now that they don't feel safe, and a lot of that had to do with the rhetoric. But I want to be clear right now, this has now gotten into physical safety. I no longer feel physically safe on my campus.
What year are you in?
I'm a junior.
So a junior, are you going to finish up this semester?
It's a great question. If nothing...
Are you going to come back?
I promised myself after Saturday night, after our group was attacked by a mob of pro-Hamas supporters, that I'm not stepping on campus while this is happening, and I don't know what that means for finals. I don't know what that means for the rest of the semester.
For you guys, you have a mission. You want to get a degree from an Ivy League university. I don't think you should let these guys stop you from doing that.
I agree. And by the way, you know, in America with religious freedom and at Columbia with, you know, a big Jewish community, we're supposed to feel like we can be proud of our identities and we can be proud to wear our kippahs on campus and we can be proud of our state. We can be proud of Israel. And that shouldn't stop me from being able to walk on campus.
So in your estimation, who organized this? I mean, what's going on?
There's kind of two things happening. There's the coalition of groups on campus called Columbia University Apartheid Divest that are calling for a number of things. One of them now is defund public safety. So, I mean, they're basically trying to get rid of the only set of people that are even tasked with keeping us safe on campus. And then you have groups like Within Our Lifetime, which is designated by the Anti-Defamation League as very much supporting terrorism, if not kind of being a terrorist group themselves, or at least a pro-terror group themselves. And what's happening is that group that is organizing right outside our gates, which is, by the way, on the way back to my dorm, I have to walk through them, and the groups inside campus are totally coordinating, sneaking people in and out, sneaking things in and out. By the way, I don't know what's in a backpack when it gets snuck in. Who knows? I mean, Andrew on Saturday night had water thrown in his face. What if somebody had a gun or a knife? we never would have known.
Why do you say pro-Hamas?
Because someone stood there saying Al-Qassam's, which is the military wing of Hamas, next target, while we were singing songs of peace holding Israeli flags. And they stood there for 10 minutes and no one did anything about it. If this was a peaceful protest, if you have one rogue who's doing that, if someone on our side did anything like that, we would shut them down immediately. Instead, they had people filming it and celebrating it while we stood there singing songs of peace. And it's all over social media, pictures of Al-Qassam's next targets, which is Hamas.
Right. What's your reaction to the fact that I'm showing you live pictures at Yale right now, that you know this protest happened at MIT, that you know it's happening at Berkeley, at the new school downtown. A lot of NYU students are not protesting there. They're coming up to on the Upper West Side. So what are your reaction to this?
I mean, look, the fact that this is spreading is not surprising to me. I'm seeing it at Yale. I mean, my brother's going to Yale next year. I know that he's going to have to be dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with, and he walks around with a kippah too. I mean, it is really, really crazy that Jewish students who are entering college now and who are in college now have to be thinking about the fact that they can kind of make a choice, right? Do I want to be proud to be Jewish, or do I want to feel safe?
Or how about this? People looking at this resume go, oh, you went to Columbia? I don't think I want this resume. I'm going to put it to the bottom, except for guys like you who stand up and speak out. Thanks so much. Stay safe, but don't let them win. Get at least complete all your courses and then move on. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Please keep us up to date.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm going to disagree with him. If you are enrolled in an Ivy League school and being treated this way, leave now and finish your degree elsewhere, because the Ivy League diplomas are about to be worth about as much as toilet paper, which to varying degrees and differing times may be a lot, may not, I don't know. But yeah, if it were me, I would start sending a message to them and just start transferring. Because it's the only way to let your voice be heard at this point, because they're not listening to you guys. All right, we're going to have to take a break. We will be right back. Technically, we're late for top of the hour, so we got to go. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hand on the Bible, I'm a decent man. No, I ain't perfect, but I'm learning how to be the best I can. But I got demons collecting dust, and I buried them.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion to be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real-life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real-life fighters, the real-life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day, protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Not too long ago, I got off a plane. And I gotta say, it was like I got off on a different planet. Everything was sideways, upside down. I didn't know one person, not one. And at my tender young age, that's scary. I admit it, scary. Because to me, being alone, living alone, and dying alone is like the worst curse God could ever put on anybody. I've always thought of life as like this one-way street, and you head down it, and as you do, it sort of disappears behind you. So, you can only go one direction, forward. And looking way down there, you see a city, but it's on fire, and it's red hot. And like I said before, you can't go back once you've started this damn journey. You can only go forward. So, you got two choices. One, you get scared, you give up, and then you burn up. And the second one, you say, fuck it! Fuck it! Fuck fear! And you barrel through it. And when you come out on the other side, I guarantee you, you're going to be stronger than you ever thought possible. But none of this shit is ever going to happen unless we all cover each other's backs and we all become part of each other's family. We do that, I swear to you, we're going to put this fire out once and for all.
We'll drink to that.
Why did I play that, you might ask? Because it's basically a modern version of the very same speech the Founding Fathers gave that was documented in writing. We all come together, we all fight together, or surely we will all hang together. This is where we are. This is your moment of that. And I don't say that with hyperbole. I don't say that just trying to hopefully make you feel all goosepimply. That's not what it's about. It's about the truth. We are watching watershed moments pop off all over this country, and too many people are afraid to stand up. Cities are literally burning. R.I.P. Ron, sorry. But they are. We've been watching cities be lit on fire since the Obama administration. We were told in 2020, the summer of love, as they called it, was mostly peaceful. But it wasn't. It was mostly peaceful because they agreed ideologically with what the people were doing and who was doing it. That's why it was mostly peaceful. That's why you have Charlottesville times a million popping off all over the country, and ain't nobody saying nothing to Joe Biden. Charlottesville was one town where Donald Trump basically said, excluding the Nazis, there were very fine people on both sides that were just there to stand up for what they believed in as far as the statues being torn down. But the media took that entire sentence and did what they did with Reverend Wright, which in this case made Donald Trump seem even worse. Them shortening him to goddamn America actually made him seem semi-sane until you listen to the rest of the few minutes of that sermon that was pulled from. But there's a reason this is happening, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening because we have been conditioned to not stand up. We have been conditioned to roll over. We have been conditioned to turn the other cheek. And I use that phrase very specifically because I have that one thrown in my face all the time, is how can you, as a pastor, tell people that it's time to start standing up, even if it's just in their own little corners of the world? Let me explain it to you, and let me explain it to you in the only way that I know how. You can look it up. Google this for me. If you have two cloaks, sell one and buy a sword. That is a verse in the Bible spoken by Jesus, which means it will be in red. Which means even he knew when it was time to fight. And he proved it when he stormed into the temple and whipped the money changers and flipped their tables. But there are only very specific things that he felt it necessary to fight for. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, if he was here watching how Islam and Christianity and Judaism have all been lumped together as coming from the same place, he would be whipping money changers and flipping tables again. Because nothing could be further from the truth. And I've preached on this before, and I've talked about it on this show before. Islam may have a lot of the trappings of an Abrahamic religion, but it's not one. If you trace the lineage, it goes all the way back to Abraham's first son, who was conceived after Abraham gave up on the promises of God and married another woman because he thought that Sarah would never give him a child. Do you want to know why they hate the Jews so much? There's your answer. That's why they hate the Jews so much. That's why they want them destroyed. Because they came from another branch of the same tree. The problem is when that branch was removed and then transplanted, it became dark and sinister. But it has a lot of the same trappings, which is why for people that have no faith, when they start looking at them, oh, these look basically the same. Except they're not. Do you want to know why they are allowed to hate the Jews as much as they do? Partly because most Christians are too afraid to stand up to them. But there is a reason, ladies and gentlemen, that in the last days Christians will be beheaded. Nobody talks about this part. What is Islam's favorite thing to do with Christians? This is what I've been trying to tell you. This is what I've been trying to show you. I don't know if it will happen before I get called home. I kind of hope not. Because that means that the 7 years of tribulation is a lot closer than I want it to be. Because I have grandchildren who I would like to see grow up and hopefully live in the same kind of America that I grew up in. But I don't know how much time is left on the clock. Because there are so many things that are talked about in the end of the book that are happening right now. Case in point, there was a story that I read about. Let me see, I think I still have it pulled up. Hang on. There was a story that I read about earlier today, and I'm going to see if I can find it again. Then we'll get back into what I'd actually planned on talking about today. Hang on. One moment, please. So yeah, this is from Carlos Garcia from the Blaze, Dateline, looks like yesterday. 3 boys were arrested for assaulting a homeless man. One of these boys is only 12 years old, according to California police. 3 young boys were arrested after witnesses told California police they were assaulting a homeless man on Saturday. Remember, in the last days, evil will be considered good and good will be considered evil. This is why it becomes so easy for men's hearts to do the things that they do. So yeah, that one. The Long Beach Police Department said that they were called to downtown Long Beach near Pacific Avenue and 1st Street over a call of assault with a deadly weapon. Police said the 3 boys had gotten into a verbal altercation with the homeless man at about 6:25 p.m. and then began to beat him with tent poles and a tripod. They also allegedly threw objects at the man. As officers arrived, the juveniles ran away from the scene, but police said they were able to identify them and then detain them later. Video showed police putting the smallest of the boys, who was 12 years old, in handcuffs and into a police cruiser. The other 2 boys were reportedly 14 and 15 years old, respectively. The 3 are facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon and conspiracy to commit a crime. In California, that probably means they got revolving door justice. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries to his upper body. He was treated by paramedics and declined to be taken to a hospital. The homeless crisis is worsening in California, where it is considered the worst in the nation, according to some reports. The Golden State accounts for the largest homeless population in the nation, which some estimates puts at least 30% of the homeless population in that state. That crisis has led to crime by homeless people and against homeless people. In one recent alarming incident, a homeless man allegedly punched a 6-year-old without provocation in the middle of the day in Santa Monica. She was not seriously injured, and the man was arrested after a second assault on a 7-year-old child. Christina Tolok, a friend of the family of the 6-year-old who was assaulted, issued a warning to those wanting to visit California for fun. Don't come to Venice or Los Angeles. It's not safe. If you have children or elderly people with you, said Tolok on KTTV TV, don't come visit us. It's not under control. The average home in Long Beach sells for about $840,000, according to Zillow, by the way. So you pay over $750,000 for an average home, meaning probably a shoebox, and you run the risk of having your children get punched in the face or having your children commit acts of violence against other people in said California. Seems like a good reason to not go there, just saying. So that was point number one of the things that are making things go crazy. Remember, and my favorite thing to bring up, the they and them in the Bible were demons. So when they start talking about pronouns and you must respect my pronouns and you must do this and you must do that, just remember you're probably listening to somebody that has a demon in them. And I know. Oh my God, he's gone nuts. No, I promise I haven't. But so here's this. So a transgender registered sex offender tried to grab kid at an elementary school in Colorado, according to the police. A transgender man allegedly tried to kidnap a child in an elementary school in Colorado, and police said that he was a registered sex offender. The Aurora Police Department said officers were called to the Black Forest Hills Elementary School on Friday over the incident. Investigators say 33-year-old Solomon Galligan got onto school property and approached a group of children. He allegedly tried to grab a young boy before fleeing from the school. Police are unsure what prompted him to leave on his own. He was later arrested by police and charged with attempted kidnapping. Galligan is being held at the Aurora Detention Center on a $25,000 bond, which means if he can have somebody come up with $2,500, he's golden, just to let you know. The mother of the child Galligan allegedly tried to kidnap spoke to KCNC TV about the boy. This has changed his life forever, and my life as well, said Miranda Aya. He was touched by somebody else who walked up onto a field at school at recess with other adults that should have been taking care of my son. She says that her child told police that he smelled like alcohol and had a white powder on his face. Cocaine. Oh, wait, sorry. Other parents told KCNC that they were upset at the school for not being as transparent as it should have been to the parents about the aforementioned incident. School officials tried to reassure parents in an email saying that they had increased security at the elementary school. We take all safety concerns very seriously, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And I've launched an investigation into the incident that happened Friday, read a statement from a school spokesperson. We are committed to being transparent and accountable to our community, and the school is in communication with families. Ayala said that the school officials who were supposed to protect the children were distracted by their phones. They were alerted by other children yelling, "Stranger danger!" See? Things that we were taught when we were young still work. It was these kids who saved my son's life, she added. The Daily Mail reported that Galligan had documented his gender transition in 2012. So I'm starting my hormone shots, and I really can't wait. I'm on my hormone pills. I've been on them for almost 4 months, Galligan wrote at the time. He had been convicted of non-consensual sexual contact in Denver and failed to register as a sex offender. When evil becomes good and good becomes evil, these will be the last days of man. This is what I keep trying to tell you. So many things have been turned on their head, and it is accelerating, not slowing down. To the point now where we have a convergence of what I like to call timelines, and not in the CERN-related way. Again, we are living through 1930s America and 1960s America all at the same time, all jumbled together, with a dash of 1984 thrown in for fun, because they are using algorithms and your search history to keep you infuriated no matter which side of the aisle you're on. Because when you are angry or when you are scared, you do not make rational decisions. And this impacts the left a lot more, or it used to, than it does the right. Because the right always had a sense of logic underneath everything that we were trying to do, including from the formation of the Republican Party trying to get rid of slavery. Because we knew that it was a bad idea. There was a fight with the Founding Fathers from day one about whether slavery should be part of America or not. The ones that were against it ceded that point just to get things started. And this is one of the things that I keep trying to explain to people. Compromise has to happen when you're dealing with a large group of people. I tried to make people understand this under McCarthy because we had a razor-thin margin back then, and he was doing what he thought he had to do to keep the trains running on time, because for the first time ever, the Senate had passed a rule that if the government was shut down, the military wasn't getting paid either. So they put his back against a wall. Now you saw some of the same things happen with Johnson. The difference is McCarthy had been there long enough that he knows how to navigate the mess. Johnson really hasn't. So was McCarthy dishonest according to a lot of people that are in D.C.? Yes. I don't know. I've never interacted with the man directly. I have reached out several times to try to see if he was willing to come on and talk about everything. I was even willing to give him up to a full hour if he just wanted to get his story out about why he did, what he knew was going to happen. But what scares me about Johnson is you listen to this man specifically tell you that FISA was a bad idea until he got taken into a skiff, which tells me they knew something about him that he doesn't want us to know. All right, we got to take a break. You are listening to The Rick Robinson Show, live right here on KLRNradio.com. Final break of the show. We'll be back in just a few. Stay tuned.
Crowded streets are cleared away one by one. Hollow heroes separate as they run. You're so cold, keep your hand in mine. Wise men wander while strong men die. Show me how it ends. It's alright. Show me how defenseless you really are.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
Take me as I am, I don't. 'Cause I don't give a damn, no. I have my own flaws, I make mistakes, but I'm not myself, I'm not ashamed. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. I have my doubts, I lose my strength, sometimes I fall, but I don't break. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. I don't wanna be someone else. I don't ever wanna lose this hunger. Never gonna try to change myself.
Welcome back in for the final segment of the Tuesday edition of the Rick Robinson Show, live right here on KLRradio.com. All right, so I promised you guys we would get here, and we're going to get here because there's lots of stuff to talk about. So, the Trump trials. First of all, if you haven't figured out yet that this is just them coming after him with everything they can throw at him, including the kitchen sink, then I don't really know why you're still listening to me. 2 points. One, Letitia James tried yesterday to have Trump's bond thrown out because the bonding company that he used isn't licensed to do work in New York. But here's the irony of ironies. Donald Trump basically turned over a Schwab account to the bond underwriter and said, here's the money, you just, here. The judge who has been the one who basically determined that Mar-a-Lago was undervalued immensely, or overvalued, undervalued, I don't remember what. There's been a back and forth there, so I don't really know. Also didn't seem to understand how that works, because he was afraid that the money market account could actually lose value. For those of you who are aware, there are money market accounts that have a floor. So once you put money in them, if they're tied to like the S&P 500, they can still grow to a certain point, but the floor or the money that you started with, you never go below that point. So even if this is one of those funds tied to that, the money's never going to change as far as going down. There may actually be more money in there than what was put in there to start it by the time it's all said and done, which may or may not help with the interest payments if he doesn't win his appeal. But this is just yet another piece of evidence showing you that these people are coming after him with everything they have. And much like the protests, it is a very coordinated effort that is designed to not seem coordinated until you start peeling the layers of the onion away. At case in point, yesterday, opening statements began. I know I've heard a lot of people in the media talking about opening arguments. No. I get it. Language is often interchangeable. This is not one of those times. You have closing arguments, because at that point, you are trying to prove the points that you made, both in your opening statements as well as your cross-examinations and your examinations. So please, especially if you are in one of what is supposed to be the bigger networks, please stop saying opening arguments. It just, I get it. It's kind of a colloquialism. It probably shouldn't be that big of a deal. But as somebody who at one point in time thought he was going to be an attorney, it just makes me twitch. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. So anyway, so the interesting thing that I didn't know until yesterday was the person that was actually involved in giving the opening statements for the prosecution is the former number 3 for the DOJ. Now, I need you guys to understand how this stuff usually works. If you're not already at the head of the DOJ, the number 3 spot is usually where you kind of want to be, because the number 3 spot is where you can leverage things to get cushy jobs afterwards. You can write your own ticket. So you're telling me that the guy who was number 3 at the DOJ is now involved in the Trump trial regarding hush money in New York. And we're not supposed to notice that a high-ranking member of the DOJ is part of the Trump hit squad. And because it wasn't going the way everybody thought it was going to go, you know, I had Letitia James trying to pull the pond, because if it would have worked, and I'm honestly kind of surprised it didn't, with as on the nose as these judges have been about the fact that they really don't give a crap about the rule of law, I was honestly expecting to get an update that his bond was rejected and that he was going to have to start over. And according to what I was able to understand, if it had gotten rejected, he would have had 7 days to try to figure out some other way to deal with it. The part that I don't really understand is if he's putting up the money on his own, I don't really know why it has to go through a bonding company, unless they're just wanting some sort of a third party to hold it so that they don't automatically just go, oh, look, he paid, we're settled, and we're done. Because, yeah, Donald Trump's going to want his day in court on all of this. All of the things. Now, the one thing that I will say, because I heard a pretty good breakdown of one of the other cases coming down the pike with this whole documents case, I don't care where you fall on the document situation. The simple fact of the matter is apparently all of this started because they wanted 3 documents back. The love letter between Lord Spraytan and the Mental Midget of the North was one of them. The penned letter to Obama to Trump on the day that Obama left office was another one. And then there was the hurricane map that he doodled on. That was all they were asking for at first. That was it. Dude, if you want... I'm not trying to tell you how to break the law, but you could have just made copies. Just saying. But when he refused to turn those documents in, they started going through things a little bit more specifically and said, well, maybe there's some classified documents there that we should be concerned with. And again, I just want to remind you that thanks to things that happened after 9/11, starting with the Patriot Act, the president has full declassification authority. Nobody really talks about that anymore. Especially if it was anything that they themselves deemed classified in the first place. So, yes, again, Trump is in some cases his own worst enemy. But it wouldn't have mattered. I'm telling you right now, and this is the thing. I wish we had a time machine, and I wish we could go back and fire it up and have somebody that, had his ear say, hey, go ahead and turn these three things in, just so that we could see if anything transpired differently, because I really don't think it would have. Because he's an enemy of the state at this point. Because this is now the America that we live in. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to admit it. But this is now the America that we live in. If you are a terrorist sympathizer or you're an illegal immigrant, you have first world status. The rest of us are now second-class citizens. Our rights can be impugned at any point in time without any thought to us, from us, or about us before it gets done, because we don't toe the party line. This is a problem. This is going to be a problem until people decide that enough is enough is enough. Do we have the time to make the changes that we need to make? I don't know. But as we start getting ready to close out the show, just as a reminder, when they start showing you who they are, believe them. And when I tell you that I am going to be voting for Donald Trump, that does not mean that I have bought into the savior complex and everything else that everybody is trying to push on that man. I will tell you this over and over and over again. Some of us are just frantically trying to find the brakes. And I hate to tell you this, but a lot of the people of color that are coming over to the Republican Party right now, they're not coming over because of Congress. They're coming over because of Trump, because they're seeing the way that they are coming after Trump, and they are seeing the fact that every time they try to come after this man, he comes back even stronger. I swear, it's like watching the scene from Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader in Episode 4, except the difference is Obi-Wan didn't put the lightsaber down this time, because he's still fighting. And it's like every time they come after him, he comes back even stronger. His numbers in the national polls, but his numbers in the swing state polls, looking pretty good. And the swing state polls are really the ones that matter. We still have a lot of real estate between now and November, so I have no illusions that something may or may not go sideways between then and now, especially if they manage to get him convicted. But the problem is, even if they get him convicted, they're not coming after him for stuff that can get him removed from the ballot. I don't think. I will need to do some more research on that. But the problem is, even if they do technically get him disqualified, by the time they manage to do it, the election is probably already going to be underway. And I'm telling you right now, for those of you who think if they can get him behind bars, that it's a done deal, I don't think so. I think if they manage to put that man in jail before Election Day, you're going to see, it's not even a red wave. I wouldn't even know what to call it, because it ain't going to have nothing to do with the color red. It ain't going to have nothing to do with the GOP. It's just going to be a bunch of pissed off people voting for Trump because they're tired of the crap. And I know a lot of people that are feeling that way. And it doesn't matter what the color of their skin is either, because they have, for the first time in history, in our lifetime anyway, the ability to look at a previous president's record and a current president's record and remove the outlier, which would be the ending year, or the beginning year for COVID for Trump and the ending year of COVID for Biden, and look at where we are now versus where we are then, and they see a stark difference. They don't see us being laughed at around the world. They told us we were, but you didn't ever see that anywhere other than the media. Oh, look, he's a laughingstock because he did this. You know what? A lot of people saw him do those things in those countries that don't live life the same way that we do and don't have the same morals that we do, and they saw those things as signs of strength. This is one of the things that I have been trying to get across to people for a very, very long time. What is going to get us dead is the fact that we keep trying to put our morals onto everyone else, and we keep trying to put our ideals onto everything and everyone else. It happens in movies, it happens in TV, all of the time. It happens in literature. You talk about them, can't say it. Anyway, giving human characteristics to animals to make us be able to empathize with them better in written works, TV works, radio works, etc. But we have a habit of doing that with other cultures too. And it never ends well. So again, as we get ready to end the show for the day, just want to remind you of the parable of the scorpion and the frog. We are living that right now. And for all of you professors and all of you heads and deans of universities, etc., that are not drawing a line between terrorism and peaceful protest, your chickens are about to come home to roost. And the scariest thing about all of this, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, the scariest thing about all this is at some point you're going to need all these people that you've labeled as terrorists to help you with the actual terrorists. And you'll be lucky if a lot of us want to show up. Because why would we? Because once we put down the problems, we're just going to become the problems again. Because you can't be pro-America anymore. You can't be pro-freedom anymore. You can't be pro-free speech anymore. Unless it's the very narrow window of what the Democrats consider free speech, which is what we tell you it is. And before I let the Republicans completely off the hook, I would like to remind you that shortly after Roe v. Wade was kicked back to the states, you then had a lot of conservative media, social media, and podcaster influencers starting to talk about how dangerous birth control is and how it needed to be stopped. I'm going to say this again. Stop making things that never should have been national issues. National issues. Abortion should have never been a national issue. The only way to really deal with it is through the states, because then people can vote with their feet if they disagree with how their state handles things. And they should vote with their feet if they disagree with how their state handles things. What I will tell you is, from all of you that are flooding the People's Republic of New York and California, don't bring your shit to our states. We don't want it here. And ladies and gentlemen, I never thought I would say this in my lifetime, but Oklahoma City is starkly blue now. Starkly blue. Tulsa too. Because it's been built up to rival other cities, and now they're building things like condos and all these other things that we swore we never wanted. Which is why a lot of us are moving into the country. The little town of Yukon that my dad moved to decades ago is now no longer a little town of Yukon, because everything just keeps getting bigger. The more things change, the more they stay the same, but there's still a lot of change. And the simple fact of the matter is, when we're talking about all of this, is you as Americans still have a choice. I'm not telling you what your choice needs to be. I'm telling you what my choice is and the reasons behind my choice, so that you understand where I'm coming from. And all I am trying to do at this point is slam on the brakes. Because both parties have left us in the dust. Both parties want the same thing. They just have different ideas about how to get us there. And one placates us a little more than the other, depending on what the color of your skin is. But I'm telling you right now, with all of the meetings that I have seen in Chicago, where I see people wearing shirts and hats talking about turning Chicago red, the blue cities are in trouble. But the problem is, unless we do something to combat the steal, it's not going to matter how much trouble the blue cities are in. Because they are in trouble. They're losing ground with their voters, because their voters, now that those cities have been made to put their money where their mouth is, have figured out that they don't matter to those people. And this is something that I need you to hear me about. Government is a tool, no more, no less. Nobody in the government actually gives two craps about you. So you need to make sure that your corner of the world is okay. You need to make sure that the people that you care about are okay. You need to do the things so that if something does happen and the world does start trying to slide sideways, that you and yours are okay. And one of the things I will start doing, and I know we already have other folks doing it too, is starting to share with you different ways that you can make sure that your corner of the world is okay. Hopefully on a budget, because especially now that I'm full-time content creator, it's feast or famine out here. Some months are good, some months not so good, but we're still afloat. So there's that. But yeah, the point of all of this is the world is getting dark and scary. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to admit it. Everybody wants to hide their head in the sand and just assume that everything's going to be okay. But it's not. Because we now have organizations that are being turned against us that have been used in other countries when we wanted to foment the kind of changes that are happening here. Except the difference is the changes that are happening here are trying to tip the scales the other way. We were allowing these tools to be used by people like George Soros, etc., to try to bring democracy to the world. Except the problem is, sometime along the way, all of the people that built up lots of power and lots of power bases, when we were allowing them to do all of these things, have figured out that democracy isn't the way to get anything done. Neither is a republic. And we are dangerously close to that moment that we all talk about and even laughed about for a while in Star Wars Episode 1. So this is how a republic dies. Except in this time, instead of it being thunderous applause, it's people being allowed to light American flags on fire while flying terrorist flags. And keeping religious groups out of institutions of higher learning. Because reasons. Is this the America you want? Because it's not the America that I want. So we have decisions to make. And your time of choosing, unfortunately for all of us, is a lot closer than anybody wants to admit. Alright, well, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it. So for tonight, I'll be back pushing buttons for Brad and Aggie on the Cocktail Lounge. Tomorrow night, there may or may not be a whatever show. I have a work meeting, so trying to see if anybody else wants to sit in with Stacy so we can still get that one going. So that should be at 7 p.m. Eastern or a replay. Not sure which yet, but we'll figure it out. Then after that, we have the Toxic Masculinity Show, because it's the last Wednesday of the month with myself, myself, G, Amish, Andrew, and Aggie. I'll get through the list eventually. Then we should have Ladies of the Red Wine, and then hopefully Ordy and I will be your nightcap. Then I'll be back Thursday night doing Jen and Rick with Jen at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then Friday night, filling in again, I believe, with the incomparable Aggie Reekin as I fill in for the irreplaceable Mickey Blowtorch. Because I can fill his shoes, but I can't do the helicopter like he can, ladies. So sorry. And other than that, I'll be here the rest of the week doing the Rick Robinson Show, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. You can also find me as a contributor for the Loftus Party website, misfitspolitics.com and twitchy.com. I'm also the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast, which just dropped earlier today. So if you have time, make sure you go check that out. And then you can also find me on most social media platforms at RowdyRick73, but at this point we do have to tell you that unfortunately we've reached the point in the program where I do have to tell you that this particular show, she is over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is! Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
This isn't over until I say it's over!
Closing time.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? Game over, man. It's game over.
Come back tonight for the Cocktail Lounge. It's not that big of a deal.
To the places you will be from. Closing time. This room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come.
I love you, Oklahoma. What a great crowd. I love you.